Welcome to this episode of the Standing Ovation. Today, OvationCXM Founder and CEO Chip Kahn and President Tim Attinger share their perspectives on prioritizing customer experience in an uncertain, challenging economy and how CXM fits in.
Market leaders take advantage of rough economic times to drive even more deeply into their markets because there's an opportunity to take advantage of the failures of others to solidify your position, right? And what does that failure of others look like? It is always bad customer experience, right? So if you are driving great outcomes for your customers, you're going to increase your penetration of your existing portfolio with more products. You're going to make yourself stickier to those clients, right? And so I think, the economic headwinds that everyone's going to face in this next sort of downturn require that you get customer experience right? Because there is no lower cost position in any industry than a satisfied customer, period, right? So you've got to hang on to the ones you've got, and the really good operators are going to increase their share of their business in those customer bases that they're serving today by winning on CX and then retaining those customers as you come out of the downturn with a pretty significant lead over others in the industry who may recognize the challenge but haven't solved for it.
I agree. And I think it becomes more important than ever to be proactive with your customers. And so a lot of what customer experience is considered sort of voice of customer. Like, what happened afterwards? Were you satisfied with the work that we did? Well, that can often be too late. CXM is about delivering in the moment, in real time, to make sure that you don't ever have an unsatisfied customers and you don't lose them, because we know in recessions that your most valuable asset are your existing customers. And so don't find out later that it went poorly. Deliver a customer journey that's ideal from the customer's perspective the first time.
I think the best way to think about CXM in a tech stack is you've got, essentially, you've got your core systems of record, your core customer information management systems, typically a CRM platform that manages sort of your record of interactions with a client. And then you've got, sort of the platforms that you give your clients access to that allow them to interact with you, right? So you've got, sort of your digital platforms, your phone lines, your applications, et cetera. And I think a lot of the challenge that IT professionals basically find in delivering on business needs in an enterprise is that, the gap between that sort of really heavy iron system of record system and the dynamic interactions that you need to have with clients and the ability to customize those interactions and manage them across a journey, a holistic journey. There's a gap between sort of what you need to accomplish and what those platforms are capable of, and what we have as CXM and our CXM engine is essentially a platform that bridges that gap, that plugs into systems of record and then provides an IT professional with a highly flexible set of tools to dynamically manage a customer outcome across a journey in the moment. And to be able to make improvements on those and changes to those in real time.
CXM is a friend, and it actually helps IT departments unleash the existing investment they've made in systems by enabling a dynamic layer. So instead of every time you have all of these products, you have different size end customers, and those lines of business are all going to want custom customer journeys. And so each time that they want to change to that, they're going to submit a ticket. And that ticket is going to require coding. And instead of moving the big rocks forward on your projects, you're mired in doing a whole bunch of incremental work. What CXM does is it eliminates that incremental work, allows your team to focus on the really valuable big efforts versus sort of this ongoing, never-ending tuning to work that you've already done. We answer that as because we're an extension to your existing tools. And, for instance, if we just take Salesforce, for example, we've been a Salesforce developer for 6 years. I have a lot of experience working with that stack. And our work is reusable. And so you can apply it and enable your business teams with agility so they can get time to value more quickly versus, again, your team having to do all of the incremental work. So think of this as an extension to your existing stacks and a way to get a faster ROI, which of course everyone's going to be looking for in this environment.
Absolutely. Just to add to that, right? If I'm managing a technology team and a tech stack at a major enterprise, make it an enterprise bank, and let's say that stack is Salesforce. So I've got admins and I have developers, right? And I've got business partners in the lines of business that are looking for dynamic, real-time management of customer journeys, right? So I can either, have that team spend a lot of time internally trying to hard code that capability into the platform, or I can give them a set of dynamic configuration tools and send them out into the lines of business and make them real partners with those business heads in a way that makes me super valuable to their outcomes, right? Because at the end of the day, my budget managing IT is really, come on, it's all funded by customer revenue. So the closer I can get my activities and my teams to driving those customer outcomes for my business partners, the more sustainable I am as a manager, the more sustainable my value to the organization is. And frankly, the more sustainable the business overall from a customer health and customer journey success standpoint. So the way I would look at it is, sure, there may be tools out there. What I need is, what's the most flexible tool I could possibly find that is already integrated to my existing system or has pre-built connection that allows me to then dynamically deliver through configuration and consulting with my business lines the journey outcomes that they're looking for, as opposed to I'll go have a conversation with the business owner, then I'll go back and I'll hard code it for 6 weeks, and then we'll test it out in the marketplace, and then I'll have to make changes and I'll go back and code that again. And that's not a great application of capital resource and human capital resource for the business, and it certainly isn't as valuable as driving specific outcomes in real time for those clients and then configuring on the fly when you need to make changes. And our platform gives an IT professional that ability.
And when we talk about dynamic and time to value, what we're really saying is you're exposing a no-code interface to your business teams to allow them to do all the little tweaks that they're going to want to do to this thing you're going to be hearing a lot more about, which is customer journeys, which is basically all of the interactions that a customer has with an enterprise over the course of a process, say activating a product, boarding a product. And so really what you're doing is you're enabling through no-code tools with your existing system, those business owners to get to their objectives, and you become the hero for it.
When we talk about time to value, right, it's really, as you think about delivering on a good customer outcome, it's helping to design, orchestrate, manage, and improve that customer's journey, whether it's a discovery and sale process, a journey, whether it's boarding and activation, go live journey, or ongoing. And this is the really critical element because it's 90% of your customers' interaction with you is solving an issue or trying to tackle a challenge with an existing solution you're delivering. So as you think about sort of driving time to value on those, there's first diagnosing that you've got a problem, right? And that you need to make an improvement to that customer journey. That process can be fairly rapid, right? Because it's just a process of mapping, here's what it looks like today, and here's what we wish it looked like. And then from there, with a combination of pre-built connectors, which are an administrative function, right? To be able to map the platform into all of the capabilities that you need to expose to make that journey go well, then you're in a visual configurator. And then your test read roll just constantly making improvements. So within, at most, a quarter, you can see dramatic improvement in customer outcomes. And so we've seen across enterprise clients, double-digit revenue improvement, double-digit attrition reduction. We've seen near on 30% cost reduction simply in getting the noise out of the system and how your teams and organizations interact to deliver to that customer. And at the same time, customer satisfaction and internal employee satisfaction have gone up by 50+%, right? And I think, those numbers you get to fairly quickly, and then they just improve on an annualized basis. So when you get the compounding effect of a quick win in delivering those kinds of outcomes, you find that you can make improvements in those outcomes within that business line. And then you find that, I can go do this for multiple business partners internally in pretty rapid succession. So rather than saying, okay, let me go try to solve commercial lending's challenge and hopefully we'll get a workable prototype in 6 months, you can be halfway across all the business lines in your enterprise bank in that time frame with the same resources. And that's a huge, huge benefit driver for the executives who set the budgets and who are looking for results, as well as for the line of business partners that you all want to serve well.
The effort required for this is a data mapping exercise in terms of connecting it to your existing systems of record. So this doesn't require development resources. It requires data mapping, and of course, testing it in a lower environment, making sure it works before promoting it to production. And as a member of the Salesforce development community and ISV, same with Microsoft and others, you can find this in the as a managed object in the App Exchange. So it's all been vetted, it's approved, it's secure, and it's an easy way for you to start to solve more quickly for those lines of business needs and for customer journeys. First, are we selling as much of a product as we could? Because everyone in the enterprise is informed about it and gets knowledge at the right time in the right context. And then reducing attrition be another sort of business driver and way to look at ROI. And oftentimes there's a big gap between people that say they want the product and those that actually go live and use the product, often called pre-activation churn. And so finally, they're servicing. And those costs are very high. It's gotten more complicated for everybody in a multi-channel, multi-language world.
To add on to Chip's last statement, when you think about how do I make the business case for this, I can drive better business outcomes across all my LOBs, right? All my lines of business, and deliver the experience as if every person in my organization and every partner were all in the same platform without having to re-architect any of it, right? Essentially, it's I get the experience of delivering a holistic experience of my enterprise and my external partners to my customers without actually having to get everybody into the same core system.
To learn more about CXM Engine by OvationCXM and see it in action, visit OvationCXM.com.